Srimati Sirohi. I work with the SS law firm and consulting allied solution. The reason I'm here is I'm Cyber Siksha alumni and I welcome you all for today's session. Cyber Shiksha is a joint skilling initiative for young women by DSCI and Microsoft. It is my pleasure today to invite today's panelist. Uh, I would like to welcome Mr. Rohit Raman, who is the managing partner and Apex sales head from eTech. Very good morning. Uh, Dr. Devabrata Nayak, head cybersecurity Ericsson. Very morning. Please have a seat. Mr. Amrish Kumar Singh, CISO from Godrej and Boys Manufacturing Corporation Limited. Very warm welcome, sir. Mr. Midhun Chandra Babu is the country manager from Recorded Future. Very warm welcome. Mr. Anand Pandey, CISO, GSTN. He's also going to moderate today's session, so very warm welcome. I am thankful to DSCI for this opportunity to learn, and I'm looking forward for today's discussion. Anyone?
Hello. Yeah, good morning, all. Good morning, all. Hope you are enjoying the cold weather in Delhi along with the pollution. So, I think in last 2 days, we all are getting bombarded with the lot of information to consume and churn. And today we will try to add some more complexity to that. Okay, not complexity, but we'll try to also provide or discuss some of the aspects of the TI, which is a threat intelligence. Nowadays it is a very hot topic, and we all are pressed for the threat intel to manage the security. It has become one of the key important factor in managing the overall cybersecurity threat landscape. So I'll quickly, without wasting much time, I'll quickly request all the panelists to introduce themselves, and then we'll go to the next steps.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Midhun Chandra Babu. I manage the India business for Recorded Future.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Rohit Raman. I manage India business for eTech International Corporation, which is a cybersecurity MSS firm.
Yeah, good morning, all. My name is Anand. I am a CISO at GSTN, which is one of the largest indirect tax platform across the globe.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Devavrat Nayak. I'm the head of cybersecurity in Ericsson India in Manes.
Good morning, everyone. Myself, Amrish Kumar Singh. I am CISO for Godrej and Boys Group.
Okay, thanks all. So, setting the context, as we are becoming increasingly digital, the need for CTI is also growing in parallel. The as I was interacting with some of the CTI service providers, they are basically tracking trillions and zillions security signals every day, in day out, and then they churn that data and provide the threat intel feeds um, to all of the consumers. So basically, whatever the signals they are churning, this is one piece of larger CTI puzzle which we try to solve every day, because we are bombarded with the information, and then identifying the contextual actionables and the information which we can consume within the our environments based on our business activities. that's again an effort. So we'll try to deliberate on the options or the mechanisms to do it more effectively. The one more thing, that the threat intel is most oftenly say labeled as nothing but the combination of IPs, domains, and hashes. But CTA is much more than what it is currently. Basically, it comes from various data sources, then and various say OSINT is there. Then there are feeds. Then say it comes through in-house analysis. Then whatever tools and technologies we have deployed, they also provide some kind of CTA. So in today's discussion, we'll try to deliberate more on what exactly is TI, what is its role, how to utilize the TI effectively, or what are the key parameters even when we are selecting the threat intel. So I'll start with all, or Mithun, you can start. Say, what is the threat intel and its role in cybersecurity with threat management, and what are the key aspects uh, to consider when we are selecting the TI?
Thanks, Anand. It's a uh, very simple question, but the answer is actually very complicated. See, at 10,000 feet, threat intelligence is, you know, anything that gives warning before it becomes a successful cyber attack. Hmm? So that's a simple thing, right? But it involves two primary functions. So one is it gives that proactive warning. Hmm? But along with that, it becomes intelligence if you are able to provide remedial measures. So, for example, if you uh, are given context about a particular vulnerability so that you can patch it in time, or if you are given the context around why a particular IP address need to be blocked before the threat actor uses that to get into your organization. So it happens at that level. Now, why it becomes complicated is it has three core functions within threat intelligence. So one is the collection itself. Now, few years back, or maybe couple of decades back, the internet was not that big. So you could, hire a team of analysts. They could, uh, collect data from different data points within the internet and analyze that, right? Now the internet, the problem in 2023 is, or in fact for the last few years, internet has become so massive. So basically that operational environment has become unbelievably massive. So collecting data is complicated. You need a lot of resources and in fact a lot of dollars also to do that collection. And it cannot be done by people anymore. You need a lot of machines. Now, all of this data comes in really, really unstructured format. Now, that needs to be converted as if a human, a natural language speaker of that language is contextualizing it. Because at a 10,000 feet level, again, threat intelligence is contextualizing of a text or an image. So, how do you contextualize? When a human being reads a text, you make something out of it. So now that has to be done by machine. So that analysis phase becomes very, very complicated. It is, this is at a very high level in AI, and then comes, after this analysis comes the delivery of it. So over the past so many years, all of you have invested in so many different security technologies. Now in 2023, in fact for the last few years, all of those security technologies need some form of intelligence to do their intended function. See, I sold, this kind of preventive technologies for 15 years before I moved to the intelligence world. So, starting from a basic firewall, a firewall is as good as the block list that you put in a firewall. If you don't have the latest, threats covered in that block list, an attack will go through. Now, if you keep a ton of indicators that are stale in the firewall, you are going to throw a ton of false positive to the SOC and their operational efficiency is going to go for a toss, right? So like that, every investment that you have made in the security space requires Intel to deliver their intended function. So it's a very simple question that threat intelligence, it's giving you advance warning before something becomes a successful attack. But there are many layers within that.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
Thanks, Mithun, for the background. That's a very critical question to be answered in the present scenario when we are encountering a lot of unknown attacks. So we've got plethora of solutions which are dealing with signature-based solutions, and we can very well take care of it. But the idea is that how to handle the unknown and how to move from reactive to proactive, and that's where the role of CTI becomes very critical. So, from my perspective and the point of view, I'd say that it's an intelligent and skillful way of analyzing the data which is residing beyond the perimeter, which you are not exposed to, right? So, in an intelligent way, you analyze the data, analyze the information about an organization's environment, and hence build a context related to the events which your security operations team is encountering day and night. Once you get the feed from CTI, from the area beyond your perimeter, you are empowering a human force sitting inside the organization who are dealing with a lot of alerts and analyze that whether out of these alerts, which is actually an incident and which is a critical threat. And hence correlation of the external data as well as the internal feed becomes very critical. And here comes a very important role, that how your workforce is deployed. Today we are moving towards a lot of AI and ML based technology. There is a lot of automation. So in my point of view, you take these feeds and further strengthen your technology if it is adapted to such integration, and rest of the work has to be delivered by your operations team who will be more focused on remediation. So it is very important to take the feed from the outside, correlate what you are getting inside, and then create a response mechanism for that. And hence it is very important. Now coming back to the second half of the question that you said, that what are the parameters to decide? There are a lot of solutions across the globe, but yes, something what comes to my mind is a tool which is not only supporting you during the breach, but also pre-breach and post-breach. The tool which can decipher maximum languages, because a threat is emerging in multiple languages of the world, right? But in how many languages can you decipher and understand? Because threat is not just within the nation, it is beyond. So that is another critical area to be understood and taken into consideration. And then obviously deep web, dark web, the social media monitoring, and the IOCs that they are capturing, the nodes that they are capturing. All these things become very critical. And with the norms that government is coming up nowadays with MII and all, will be another area. But that has a lot of limitations, I understand. So I think that's how my point of view is.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rohit. So we'll quickly move to Dave. Any thoughts on
Good morning, everybody. So I just want to correlate how this will happen, starting from the threat intelligence, as Anand told, how actually we'll go to the cyber security. If you see the threat intelligence, so basically what it is doing is it gathering the various kinds of information, taking the necessary action, and based on this, you have to find out the outcome. But if you have not put threat intelligence as your incident management plan, then you are missing something there. If you are not putting your incident management plan with your cyber crisis management plan, then you are missing something there. If you are not putting your cyber crisis management plan with your organization brand strategy, you are missing something there. And if you are holistically, if you are altogether not putting as a your cyber security posture, so that means we are not catering the cyber security aspect of and incident response correlating each other. So that's why I want to give a perspective. When you deal these things, the threat intelligence, you have to correlate. If the incident happens, what is the incident response plan that I need to do? What extent it will be leads to my cyber crisis management plan? Based on this cyber crisis management plan, what way my organization will react, and based on this, how will take care. Coming back to specifically to the incident response, you will find out in the incident response, basically it operates nowadays. The modern incident response operates with a sandboxing methodology. You have to translate some parts of your incident which are very, very critical so that you can do a sandboxing and take a necessary actions. So you have the IP addresses, you have these port numbers and all these things, but you have to do sandboxing based on the content. How you are doing the content moderation, how will take a action based on the bad contents. So that is where actually the next generation threat intelligence are coming. And the next step you have to do is the threat arbitration. Many of you thinks how actually a particular vendor will do a threat arbitration. That is the new things which are coming in the picture. So that means when you do this kind of arbitration analysis, then you will find out when the law enforcement agencies at the stage when you are reporting, they will ask something, then you will say, hey, look, all these things are available to me. You can go to within the 6-hour guidelines, which is published by the regulator.
Yeah, I think hardly something left for me to speak. I just take it one step back. See, 10, 15 years back, we used to struggle on visibility and monitoring, right? If you do not have visibility, you cannot monitor. You cannot monitor, you cannot improve. Okay. Then the technologies came in, and the next generation AV, next generation firewall came in, and next generation nothing but the threat intel. All the, I think Mithun was also talking about all the next generation today the technology what we have, firewall, EDR, XDR, cloud security platforms, they are going to consume threat intel. Now the how current that threat intel, how contextual and important that threat intel is there, that is how that kind of protection you're going to have. First thing. Second thing, uh, even if I'm a strong believer in the people, process, and technology. Okay, so you have the best of the threat intel, but don't have process and people, those who can make sense out of it. You don't have automation, which can probably you can take best use of the threat intel. Probably things are going to break because you'll not be able to achieve what you wanted to achieve from the threat intel. Okay, so we need to focus all the three parameters. You need to write processes, and you need to select the right platform. I think with Nitin and Rohit talked about what kind of platform we should choose on what criteria. I'll add one is the contextual. Okay, so suppose I'm in manufacturing. If something threat intel I get in with respect to OT and IoT, it becomes very critical for me because you hardly get because OT environment is not connected to the world. Okay, so threat intel whatever you get based on the some breach has happened somewhere, and that's how probably get some intel. It is applicable to my organization, that will become contextual. Okay, rather than getting a generic threat intel. So I think I'll pause here. I will discuss as we progress.
Okay, thanks, Ambarish. So, Rohit, I'll come back to you on how this CTI helps us improving the incident management. At the same time, say for example, the how it helps in minimizing the MTTD and MTTR. If you can put some light on that.
Thanks, Anand. And I think this is very interesting question thrown upon to me. Uh, with the context set by the rest of the panelists, one thing which has come out in the discussion is the context, right? It is very important to understand the context of the threat because not all the threats are of relevance to all the organization. It is highly, highly contextual. And as I was pointing out that it is very important to intelligently analyze the threat which is emerging outside your perimeter and firewall, and then empower your security operations team. Now, once the and then today we are going to talk about the platform based approach. So there has to be a very good integration of a threat intel platform with your security operations center, because in that scenario what you are going to do, some of the part which your machine is doing by way of automation, that is doing parsing and analyzing the logs and not spending much time on writing the playbooks and use cases. But you have to be more focused on the response, on the remediation part. But that is possible if and only if you know that what are the threat landscape outside your perimeter, why it is looking at you to attack, what it is eyeing, what is it targeting, from where it is expected to attack. So who, when, how, why, where, all these things you come to know when you analyze these threat intel feeds. And then your human force who is managing your security operations center, then they analyze these data from the threats and the alerts that they are getting from the security operations center. And they are more focused now on response and they are more focused on remediation. Now, when you are doing this, what you are doing, you are having complete context of the threat. You are making your organization proactive. And you're spending, since you are spending more time in remediation, because half of the work is done by the automated platform, you are reducing the mean time to detect because you are more focused. And since the mean time to detect is reduced, this is further leading to a reduction in the mean time to response. Reason being that you know that what can attack you, from where it can attack, and why he or she or any hacker is trying to attack. The motive, you come to know the motive. And since you are analyzing your internal environment, you are also capable of analyzing the weak links. And you know that from which weak link an external threat can come inside. You'll be more focused on remediation. You will be more focused on controlling that threat to come inside, and hence end of the day you'll become more proactive. So this is how I take that this is going to improve your mean time to detect and improve the response time.
Yeah, thanks, Rohit. Now, Midun, I'll come back to you. Say, because you are into the CTI business, so just help us understanding what types of the CTIs are available and how its life cycle is managed, right from the collection to normalization to dissipation, and then again everything.
Sure, Anand. So, at a high level, there are two types of intel. So, there is the strategic threat intelligence and the operational threat intelligence. The operational one is sometimes called as tactical also. Now, if you look at the strategic threat intelligence, it's generally created by a human analyst, though some aspect of it can be done by machines, but generally created in the form of a report by a human analyst. Uh, this helps organizations get a general direction on what you should invest in. Also, how well you are doing from a security posture perspective and all that, like a periodic report and things like that. Uh, while the operational intelligence, that is what makes you more secure, in my view. So that can be further broken into different types of threat intelligence. So starting with the brand intelligence. Now, do not confuse brand intelligence with all of threat intelligence. Very, very, it's a small function within the overall framework of threat intelligence. So brand intelligence will give you, uh, alerts on whenever there is a brand related infringement. Like, for example, if somebody creates a typo domain, or somebody creates or your data is leaked in the dark web or things like that. So that is brand. Then comes the security operations intelligence. So this is what brings in operational efficiency to your security operations center. Like we spoke about, the mean time to resolve and things like that. So those uh, that in that aspect, threat intelligence can play a massive role, and not just to the people in the SOC, but also to the technologies in the SOC. Then comes vulnerability intelligence. See, in vulnerability intelligence, the idea is not to patch everything, because that is an inefficient process. You talk to Amnish, she will tell you that get how difficult it is to get downtime from any of the OT environments, right? So the key is to patch only that is absolutely necessary. So for that, you need to know the threat level of every single vulnerability that exists in your environment. So that is vulnerability intelligence. Then comes third party intelligence, because if you look at the last many years, some of the biggest cyber incidents actually came in through your third party or a weak third party posture. Hmm. Another thing that has come in big lately is geopolitical intelligence itself. I'll tell you this incident that happened, I think, a couple of months back with a big energy company in the US. So, and they subscribe to Recorded Future, of course. Their geopolitical coordinates hmm, were showing up in a GitHub repository that was basically the code for a drone. So basically so it is a geopolitical thing, right? It is now a cyber attack is converting to a kinetic attack. So that geopolitical intelligence is becoming something very big. The other aspect of operational intelligence is the attack surface management. I mean, as a CISO, you know that shadow IT becomes such a massive nightmare. So the ability to track the unknown. hmm, So attack surface intelligence provides that. Hmm? And then the last one, which is, or second last one, which is active these days, is identity intelligence. How you can see in the identity world, what happens is there is always a time window before uh, and between an identity getting auctioned at a absolute top tier forum till the time it gets to a retail threat actor. So if you are able to get hold of those leaked credentials at that level, you will be able to prevent a successful attack from happening. And then on top of all of this, you have the actual threat intelligence piece from an operational perspective, wherein you have the ability to do research about the threat actor and their TTPs, because ultimately it is a threat actor who is targeting you. If you are able to get ahead of the game, as far as they are concerned, then you will be able to stay ahead.
Great. Thanks, Midhun. Ambrish, would you like to add to what Midhun said?
Yeah, I think Mithun talked about a lot of stuff. So core point is, suppose you get a threat intel, what we should do. As you talked about OT, so in cybersecurity we say CIA. OT availability becomes the prime factor rather than confidentiality. Okay. So suppose you get a threat intel that IT relevant to you, what you will do with that? Do you have the mechanism or skills to gauge the impact? And are you able to translate that into the business terms so that you can talk to the business guy if something has come up and we need to do this because this is the impact we are going to have. If you say in generic that no, cybersecurity threat is there, we need to make it down, it is as per the process, he's going to say, I'm going to accept the risk. And risk acceptance at times he may accept for his business, it might have a repercussions at org level. So that translation as a cybersecurity team, we should have that visibility. First thing. Second thing, as I said, processes all across, right? Suppose you have a SOC, intelligence SOC, he got all the information what Mithun was talking about. Do they have a capability to analyze all this? And suppose you have a managed service provider, as give you the contextual actionable alert, you do this, you do that. That is where the tactical and operational threat intel works. So if you take a tactical threat intel, it will give you this is what you are supposed to do. This is threat intel. You do this. You will be protected. If you move little up the strategic level, probably it is long term. You look at the give example of like G20 was happening in India, right? And a lot of threat intel was at India level that all India critical infrastructure websites will be targeted and they were targeted. So Indian agency got alerted. That was strategic level. We got a government guidelines, right? Cert IN got guidelines. As a CISO, as a C level or top management people, we need to decide what does that mean to me and future looking. So threat intel has the different levels. We need to consume that at that level, and we should able to translate that what that mean to your organization, rather than just doing what others are doing. It will not give you the right result. So industry specific contextual, and you need to have processes in place And I think they were talking about robust cyber incident response is going to bolster your cyber defense strategy. If you have best of the technology, but if you don't have well practiced cyber incident response plan and you're not practicing well, you're going to fail. I used to add the incident response plan. It's the drill which you do. Probably I keep recommending the people that you should have unalerted drills. Except you, nobody knows what is a drill, and people should react that it has happened in reality. Then only probably when the real things happens, you will able to react to it little in a better way rather than just announcing that so and so date I'm going to do this incident. Assume that ransomware we are going to do, everyone is prepared. The script. So you are not giving chance to anybody to prepare, and you can choose your time. You can choose the worst time that maybe evening 5:30 something has gone wrong. Let's see how people are reacting to it. That is how the breach happens.
Great, thanks, Ambarish. Before I go to the quickly, I'll just extend the same point that you're visualizing or handling or seeing the incidents day in day out. So, will you say tell us about any real life incident, probably which is worth discussing and we can learn from that?
Okay, so one of the biggest cyber incidents that happened in the enterprise space in India was the Mace ransomware attack at Cognizant. So when that happened, I mean that weekend, I think I must have got calls from 15 different CISOs from the industry. Uh, so one of their peers who use Recorded Future, been using us for quite some time now. So they told me a very interesting use case of what they achieved. So, Mace, that incident at Cognizant happened in April 2020, and 4 months prior to that, January of 2020, one security researcher in the US published a bunch of indicators on Twitter related to the Mace group. Now, Recorded Future has a mechanism to rate different researchers as well, and this researcher is rated quite high. And the system automatically picked up all of those things that were published. It was correlated with few other factors, and then a Yara rule was created and published on the platform. Now, this organization that has been using Recorded Future, what they did was they have a SOAR in which there was a playbook that mentioned, anytime Yara rule gets published on Recorded Future, download that. That was downloaded and passed on to the EDR team or the endpoint team. Fast forward to April, an attack actually happened there as well, but it was completely blocked. So Cognizant lost, I think, $75 million in revenue, and I think some market cap went down by a few $1 billion.
Yeah, it was in public, so
yeah. So so imagine the scale of savings a CISO can achieve by building a structure like this.
yeah, great. Thanks, Madhun. I'll quickly come to Deb. So, Deb, how do you think that the CVSS score can be utilized in building the CTI product?
Yeah, basically what we are doing, we are building the next generation telecom network, and on that actually we are building the equipments which are take care of the inherent resilience capability. So that will be built based on the CBSS scoring mechanism, which is 4.0, which has come into picture. I'll just give, and based on this, you will find out the example he has given that how actually the EDR part has taken care. We also implemented EDR in many facets. We find out when the EDR they go and touch to a particular folder, then there will be alert will be generated. But let's say my IN is there, in that my CDR files are there, but they are kept in a folder. It touches it and it provides an alert, but that is a false alert for me, right? Because all the files I am keeping on that CDR folders, they are encrypted files. They are not doing anything. But what they are doing, they are generating huge amount of tickets for me. And to based on this, because the policy level which has been set in the EDR and XDR level is aggressive mode. So that's why you have to find out a lot of permutation and combination when it works. Then if it is goes inside the file and change something, so that could be an alert and could have been useful for me. So that is why you will find out. So it depends on how the incident happens and what extent you have to find out during the incident time how actually you will react. I'll just give with chairman permission. I am giving a very real life example. I was traveling from Delhi to Mumbai in Indigo flight. I think when you travel in Indigo flight, you will find out there will be no bar. The pilot come and goes. You can easily see. So what happened? A gentleman was sitting near to me. He was asking what you are doing. I said I'm building this 5G network and security, artificial intelligence, all these things. So then in the meantime, the flight goes toss. It goes to the turbulence, and he was looking here and there because the pilot is in the not in the cockpit. He has gone to the restroom, so he was looking there. And I say, sir, please hold on.
Yeah.
It is a Airbus A320 flight. It is running with artificial intelligence, and it is running with machine language. बोला अरे रुक यार, तो अभी फ्लाइट इन तो कौन सा machine language मुझे समझा रहे हो. So then what I find out, in the meantime, the pilot came in and enter inside the cockpit and the flight gets stable. So he said, look, it is the pilot who kept the flight stable, not your machine language or your algorithms, your artificial intelligence, your everything. So that's why I learned a lesson. I like his statement that people, process, technology, people are very important. They have to take, pilot might have taken a split time, uplifting the flight or down, and they have done something. So that is why you have, when you are doing a threat intelligence analysis, your analyst must take a appropriate time to complement the MTTR, to complement the regulatory requirement, to complement all these things. So that is where it is very important. So I'll come back to next if there will be any question.
Great example, Dev. So now we are almost ending the time. So I'll ask this is my last query, that how to utilize the CTI effectively, or how to assess the effectiveness of the CTI utilization also. To all, this to all. We can start from Midun.
Yeah. So
Probably you can guide us from your view. We all are probably, you and Rohit can give a other side of table's perspective. We all are sitting on the other side of table.
see, at the end of it, it's about uh, whether you were able to prevent all successful cyber attacks from happening within your organization. Uh, Outside of that, this is like you really cannot prove an ROI, and this applies to many security technologies. You really cannot prove an ROI to a traditional business of security spend. Huh? Like, I spoke about that Cognizant incident and their peer. So those kind of things you will have to catch from within the industry and showcase that. Huh? This is my view on that.
Well said. ठीक है.
So if we talk about effective utilization, all I can say that how are we going to empower both machine as well as the human force sitting in the organization? As Midun has also pointed out, and Ambrish ji and Mr. Nayak just pointed out, that simply AI, ML, or dependency on the automation will not solve the problem. You should also have an intelligent workforce who can make effective use of the technology and take an informed decision and take an informed action. In the same manner, it is very important that if we get any threat intel feed, the quality of the threat intel feed has to be very high. It has to be highly contextual so that your team is aware that, okay, fine, this is of relevance to my organization, and this is of relevance to the threat that I am encountering from the feed that I am getting from my security operations center. And based on the correlation of these feeds, I have to take an informed action. Some of the action might be taken automatically by the platform, right? But yet there is a great human force which has to act. Machine cannot solve all the problem. There has to be someone who can effectively use that machine to solve the problem. But yes, to my opinion and conclude, I think there has to be an emergence of a platform based approach where there is a very effective collaboration and integration of a robust threat intelligence platform with the security operations platform that you are using. There might be a holistic combination of CMSOR, UEBA, and NBAD, but that is all internal, and that tends to be little reactive. To become proactive, you get the feed from the outside, and then you take informed action, and that's how you start your journey from reactive to proactive.
Yeah. Thanks, Rohit. Deb?
I think I will echo what Amrish has told, that use people process technology along with use the people those are giving you the feeds, like Mr. Babu, because there it is very essential to work hand in hand with your equipment vendors or the platform vendors who are really providing the threat intelligence to you, because even if it has your equipments but the intelligence comes from them, works very coordinated manner, and keep track of what is your regulatory plan and how to respond to the regulators, and also keeping your organizational brand reputation into account. So these are the couple of things we need to take into account.
Thanks, Deb. Ambarish?
I think I'll just add on what people said. Keep your basics strong. People process technology and defense in depth, security by design, now privacy by design, right? You will be able to handle it. The more contextual alerts, etc., you are going to empower these processes, and you will become more proactive. I just came to my mind simple example. Your kid goes to 12th. We start telling you go to the car, go to the LN, go to the Fiji. Why? Because we want to give him the what is currently happening, right? Give him more feed so that tutors, those who are aware of what is happening in JEE men's, advanced, etc., right? So that he becomes successful. Similarly here, right feed at right time to the right team, you will be more proactive, and probably you will be able to protect for what we are paid for.
Yeah, thanks. Well said, Ambarish. So, overall, just to summarize that the CTI is one key component within the overall cybersecurity management, and equally the people, process, technology, all aspects are equally important. I think going forward, the TI will be more proactive and predictive. It will evolve over a period of time. So, in this discussion, probably I am a consumer of the threat intel and threat intel platforms also. So I try to find answers to some of the questions I face, or we all are facing while managing the cyber security. But then there are many more queries. I think 30 minutes or 45 minutes covering the entire cybersecurity management and threat intelligence management, it is not sufficient. And I might not have covered all the questions. If you have any queries to the panel, please uh, feel free to ask, and then allow us to learn also through your experiences and your requirements. Thank you. Yeah, it's tea time now. Oh, okay. Okay. So, if no questions, then thanks all coming so early in the morning and patiently hearing us out. Thank you very much, and thanks DSCI for giving us opportunity.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Chair. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks all.
everyone.
Thanks all
all.
panelists.
Thank you all the panelists. We request you to stay here for a moment for a group picture. And also I would like to invite Prajwal from DSCI to give m- uh, momentums as a token of appreciation from DSCI.